Conservation here at SeaWorld is a mission. It's a responsibility that we have and we all take very seriously.
I'm so passionate about the conservation side of things. It's making that connection to people who come to the parks and see these animals and trying to get across the message of what is happening out in the wild.
It's in everything that we do, from educating guests to rescuing manatees to sending experts across the world to help an animal in need. We're there. SeaWorld is there.
SeaWorld is dedicated to the conservation of marine species, period.
They're definitely focused on a bigger picture, not just wildlife, not just the care of animals, but from recycling to conservation to focusing on the things that are important. This company has always been strong on it.
From the top person down to the bottom, they're there because they're passionate about what they do. They want to do the right thing.
We all need to be in this together, and I'm happy to be able to work with various researchers and people that are doing wonderful things out in the environment to help animals.
They won't take no for an answer. If there's a challenge, if there's a way to help an injured animal or wildlife through conservation efforts, they're committed.
Manatees are a good example of this. They're an endangered species. Every single individual animal is important. And so through the work to rehabilitate those animals, we're actually able to make a positive impact on the conservation of that species.
And they want to help not only the animals right in front of them, but the future of animals in the wild and the global conservation efforts.
There's a greater need to help wild populations and help wild places now than there ever was. To be able to get that message across through our parks, through our animals, is something that I think is crucially important at this point in time.
Research is important simply because you have to look at sort of a big puzzle. The puzzle has missing pieces about animals and habitats and the way the biodiversity works. We learn pieces of that puzzle here in our living laboratories.
I personally have worked with a lot of SeaWorld researchers on a whole wide variety of research and science that you only see a part of when you actually come to the park. So there's a whole lot more going on underneath.
We can do a lot of research here in our parks that it would be almost impossible to do out in the wild. Things like raising fish in a laboratory, or looking at acoustic hearing ranges of dolphins, or cognitive abilities in sea lions. That's all stuff that you couldn't really do out in the wild. But you can do it here in our parks with our research projects, and then give that to scientists out there, and oh man, it just gives them just a head start on the research they're doing.
There's a flow of ideas. We work with the staff over there. They notice amazing things about their animals, and we try to understand how it works. Or we have ideas about things that might be great projects over there. We propose them and do the work.
They really do participate at an international level with other aquariums and zoological facilities around the world, but also with wild populations of animals, from a rehabilitation setting to a research setting. And it's not something that I think most people are aware of.
The people that are studying animals in the wild learn the other pieces, but they can't see what we see because it isn't so up close and personal. They hardly ever see baby whales born at all. They don't know what the growth patterns are, the nursing capacity, the nursing frequency.
Our reproduction program is a major part of that. It's been very, very successful. Remember, we've had roughly 80% of the whales and dolphins that live within our parks were born right here at SeaWorld or in some other zoo.
We were the first to develop artificial insemination now in killer whales, Pacific white-sided dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, and beluga whales.
It's consistent with our larger mission, which is to have population health.
You can develop these technologies, and then that benefits the wild animals too.
We publish peer-reviewed papers in journals, and we also go to conferences and basically spread the love, spread the news of what we're discovering. And yeah, it's very important to disseminate this information so that it can be used by other zoos, and it can just contribute to the basic understanding of a species' physiology.
SeaWorld is part of a whole global community when it comes to research, when it comes to conservation, when it comes to rehab of animals. We're kind of like a cog in a big piece of machinery, all these pieces working together.
The beautiful thing about our conservation fund is that 100% of the money donated is granted back out to projects around the world and right here in our own backyard.
SeaWorld definitely plays a vital role in those efforts by contributing resources that may not be available to a lot of organizations or agencies.
One organization that we've supported for many, many years is called SANCOB in South Africa, and they rescue and rehabilitate hundreds of African penguin chicks every single year. So our tours they're directly helping this organization conserve penguins.
Funding is a huge obstacle and a huge challenge for streaming networks to be able to continue the work that we do. And recently I was able to apply for a grant with the Conservation Fund, and it's really been a huge help to our organization just over the last year and what we've been able to accomplish, equipment we've been able to purchase that we really needed on site for rehabilitation so that we could continue what we're doing.
It was started back in 2003 to give something to the environment, and it's a nonprofit part of our company. We've given millions of dollars to projects in over 60 countries that really focus on research, education, but also sustainability and keeping animals and habitats around for years to come.